Hello, Werewolf Farming, this is Jane's Videos, and today I am going to be talking about something very exciting. This is the new, for 2021, Lemax Spooky Town Village releases. Now, I've never actually done, I should say, a video covering the Lemax Spooky Town releases for the year. I don't know why, I just never got around to it. I don't know why, but I've never done it in the past. Now, obviously, I do buy Lemax Spooky Town, and I obviously show videos of them when they come to the stores. They're definitely the best Halloween village out there, in my opinion, and I wanted to cover them this year because I've been collecting Lemax Spooky Town buildings ever since 2007, I'm pretty sure. I have some from way back when they began in the very, very early 2000s. I have a lot of them, but the thing is, I was never too focused on making the village look detailed and good. I would just put all my buildings there, and I'd make hills and stuff like that, but they weren't detailed. It was just black tablecloth, and I'd just set the buildings around. It looked like a village, but it didn't look intricate and detailed. Now, this past Christmas, I did a Christmas Lemax village, my first actual full-out Christmas village, because I never really bought the Christmas buildings before. And I made it look really, really cool. Like, it looks fantastic. I used snow, I made fake mountains, had mountains in the background with spotlights. It looks absolutely breathtaking. I'm really proud of it. And the thing is, that really taught me how to make good villages, because before, I just never really knew what to do to make it look good. That really taught me how to make good villages, and now I'm even more pumped for Lemax Spooky Town this year because my village this year, my Halloween village, it's going to have a separate video of its own when it's set up in the Halloween season. It's going to be very intricate. There's going to be giant mountains. It's going to be so detailed. I'm excited to share it with you guys because though I've always loved Lemax Spooky Town, like I said, I never really made the villages look intricate, detailed, and realistic, but now that I finally know how to do it properly with my experience with the Christmas village this past Christmas season, I'm going to make my Halloween village this year absolutely breathtaking. But with that out of the way, let me explain why this is a little bit delayed. These were released about a week ago. I recently got a puppy, so that's been a little thing delaying it. His name is Gizmo, and obviously based off of the character from the horror film Gremlins, because he has the same color and stuff as him, so I thought, oh, naming him after a horror character, and it fits him. So I got a puppy named Gizmo. Sparky's starting to adjust to it, stuff like that. But I also had dress rehearsals for Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, which is a Halloween event that opens in the Halloween season, so you're probably wondering why I had dress rehearsals right now. I'm going to be working with them this year. I'm super pumped about it, super excited, as they are voted the best haunt in all of Florida and the 10th best haunt in the entire country. I'm super excited to be working with them. They're great people. They know about my home haunt. They're really fantastic. It's a huge deal. It's a big haunt. They actually beat Halloween Horror Nights, I heard. So that's a big deal. But the reason that they're doing something in February is because they're doing a haunted Valentine's event. So though it isn't a Halloween event, it still has the same type of vibe. Obviously, it's still a haunted house. So I'm very excited to work at it. It is a haunted Valentine's event. If you want to check that out, I will put a link in the description for you to buy your tickets if you are in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Just check it out, Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. I would really like you to come. And I'm sure they would too. There's some great people who really put a lot of dedication into their stuff. I will definitely make a video about it with permission. I won't show the inside of the haunted houses because they don't like that. But I will make a video about it with permission when I go there and record, the whole outdoor part. And here comes Gizmo. He's wondering what I'm doing. But anyways, let's get into what this video is about, shall we? We're first going to start off with the big one for the year, the big new one. This is the Evil Spirits Whiskey Distillery. I like this one a lot. It looks super cool, first off. The flames emitting from the top look absolutely fantastic. This is one of the contest winners. If you don't know, Lemax does a contest every year for a different building that a fan submits a design, and about 2 years after they submit the design, the building is made. So one year they'll do a Christmas one year they'll do a Halloween one, and this is the winner of the 2019 contest that they did for their Halloween one. And this is the Evil Spirits Whiskey Distillery. This is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love how it looks, like I mentioned. It's got a lot of animation, too, which I really like. This is absolutely one I plan to pick up. It's also got, like, this Irish pub-type music in the background, which I'm a big fan of. I really like it. And seeing as Halloween is originally an Irish holiday, I like that. Next, we're going to talk about the Carnival of Carnage. Now, this one doesn't have any animation, but it's cool. It's like basically a tower. It's a carnival tower with like Midway games on it and stuff. The lights on it look super cool. I'm very interested in seeing this one in person. I don't know if I'm going to get this one because there's already so many this year that I love. Lemax has a very strong lineup for Spooky Town this year for sure. There's already so many this year that I love that I don't know if I'm going to get the Carnival of Carnage Tower, but it's possible. Depends on what I think about it in person, but I still think it's a cool one regardless. Next up, we're going to talk about my favorite out of all of them. This is the Skull Cave Quarry. Now, if you do not know, they released, during the Christmas Village, this past Christmas season, they released a building called the Thicket Falls Cabin, and then another one called the Chestnut Cabin. I own the Thicket Falls Cabin one, but this is a Halloween channel, so I'm going to not really talk too much about the Christmas. I'm not going to take up too much of your time with that. As I don't even like to think about Christmas until December, whereas I like to think about Halloween all year, because we all know Halloween is the superior holiday, and it is a lifestyle. But anyways, I mentioned the Christmas Village because those cabins, they have this little mechanism built into them that have steam coming out of them. And I think they mentioned in the instruction video for it that's going to be implemented in Lemax buildings from there on out. And now we see it in the Spooky Town building, which is what I was hoping for. I was really hoping, I hope this means we'll get some Spooky Town ones. This isn't what I was expecting. I was expecting like a spooky cabin, but I think this is even better because this is a really cool thing. This is a quarry, and inside the cave, fog rolls out from inside the cave. How freaking cool is that? I love it. The bones and stuff inside, too, illuminated by that purple light. It looks truly awesome. I'm a big fan of this one. I'm absolutely getting this one. It's my favorite of the year, so no matter what, I have to get it. Next up, we have the Web of Terror Ferris wheel. Now, this one I know is one that a lot of people are going to go crazy for, as the carnival rides always sell out and they become worth a lot of money in the future. But this one is a Ferris wheel, which we have not gotten a Ferris wheel from Spooky Town since 2010. So it's been 11 years, and now they bring us this Ferris wheel. I don't know if I'd get this one. I do like it quite a bit. I like the Ferris wheel. But the one thing I don't like about it is I don't like the colors. They just don't look Halloween. I can understand a carnival, like the Carnival of Carnage Tower. It doesn't really have Halloween color. I mean, it has some purple and stuff. Yeah, it's got Halloween colors, but it's not like super, super Halloween, like orange and black. But like this is like party colors. They're like, I don't know. The colors on this Ferris wheel don't look Halloween-y to me at all. And I really wish they would have done orange or just purple instead of green, orange, blue. I mean, green and orange are Halloween colors, but I mean, just the combination of all those multicolored lights in there looks a bit more Christmassy than Halloween-y to me. Though the Ferris wheel itself is cool. I really like the spider theme. I like that a lot. I just don't like the lights on this one. It just doesn't feel very Halloween-y. But we're going to move on down the list. We are going to now look at... This is another one of my favorites. This is my second favorite. This is the Point Dread Lighthouse, which is another one I'm definitely going to get. We haven't gotten a lighthouse from Spooky Town in a long time. This is super freaking cool. I don't know what else to say about it other than that it's awesome. I mean, just look at it. The light in the top, there's a lot of animation on it. This is definitely going to be a more pricey one, but it's super cool. I'm a big fan of this one. Next up, we are going to talk about the Apparition Academy, which might be my least favorite. I love ghosts. I'm a big fan of ghosts, but I like ghosts in like actual haunted buildings, like a haunted mansion or stuff. I don't really like this one just because, I don't know, just the whole idea of the ghost school. I think it's a cool idea. I think a haunted school would be pretty freaking dope. But this isn't a ghost. This isn't a haunted school. This is a school that literally teaches ghosts how to be ghosts, which is a nice idea. But I'm less on... I love comical aspects to horror, but I'm less on the just straight-in-your-face comedy, and this one's just like straight-in-your-face comedy. I'm more on the subtle dark humor, like that's written on the tombstones and stuff. This is just in-your-face, kind of like funny, and it just doesn't fit the vibe of my village, which is more macabre. And main reason I don't like it is I just don't really like the architecture too much on this one. I just don't like the way that this one looks too much. I don't like the colors. The colors, I think, are really what pull me away from it. It just doesn't look very Halloween-y to me. I don't know. I just don't really like the colors on that one. Next up is one that I do like, though. This is the Zombie Records. This is very interesting. I love the black lights on the top. This is a really cool one. I like it. It's a very unique idea. And it's not a... I mean, it is an interior lit building, but it's also got some LEDs on it, so that's good. I do like interior lit buildings, but the buildings with the LEDs and the fancy lighting are definitely the best ones, in my opinion. But the cool thing about this is it's shaped like a giant jukebox, which I really like. It's got a very 1950s vibe, and I really, really like that about this piece. Next up, we are going to talk about the Squeal Street Blues. This is very New Orleans-like. If you don't know, I love New Orleans. One of my favorite cities ever. It's such a creepy city. New Orleans is said to be the most haunted city in America. And it's a city all about voodoo and witchcraft and stuff like that. So I'm big on New Orleans. I've always loved New Orleans. It's very creepy. So this is basically supposed to be New Orleans in a way. It has the same architecture as New Orleans buildings. It looks just like it. It definitely goes very well with the building from last year, the Zombie Jazz Cafe. That was absolutely New Orleans. You could tell they meant that to be New Orleans. So now they're doing this kind of New Orleans vibe to some of the buildings, which I really like. I think this is a cool one. Only thing I don't like, again, is the colors on it. I feel like a lot of the buildings this year don't have very Halloween-y colors, which is something I'm not a big fan of, because I want them to have Halloween-y colors, because it's a Halloween village. I mean, I'm not just talking about all the buildings being orange and black, but less vibrant colors and more toned down, dark and dreary colors. Whereas this year, there's a bunch of vibrant colors that just pop too much, in my opinion. Which I don't really like, because they just add too much color to a Halloween village. You want your Halloween village to be dark and dreary. Now, like I said, this year's a solid lineup for sure. Some of the buildings just have way too vibrant of colors to look Halloween-y to me. But this next one is one that also has kind of vibrant blues, but I kind of let it pass on this one just because this one's so freaking cool. This is the Ghost Writers Antique Bookstore. So this is basically, like the name suggests, it's an antique bookstore. I'm really drawn to this one because there's about 20 minutes from my house, 20 to 30 minutes, there's this famous bookstore that's very haunted, and so that reminds me of this, as it is an antique bookstore. I really like this one. I like the quill pen up there, and I like the book, and I like this is the type of humor I was talking about. Deadline Drive for Shadow Street. I really like that type of humor. And then up in the window there, you can see like a face. This is a really cool one. I like this one a lot. Last but not least, for the big buildings here, we are going to be talking about the Bad Apple Shop, which is another one that I really like and one that I want. I don't know what else more to say about this one other than that it like screams Halloween. This is the type of thing I was talking about with Halloween colors. Like, it's not just orange and black, but it's got that Halloween feel to it, which I really like. It looks like the pumpkin, that's an apple, but it's got pumpkin eyes. The apples at the top light up, which I really like. This has a very fairy tale type vibe because of the witch, but it's definitely a very classic Halloween feel, which I really like. And the snakes on the side are super cool. I really like this one. I like the whole look of it. It looks super cool. Now we're going to move on to smaller accessory pieces, but not really super small pieces yet. First, we have the Pumpkin Tree House. Of course, you guys know me with pumpkins and farm classic Halloween type stuff. I absolutely love it. And this one really appeals to me. I love how the pumpkins actually light up. These are super cool. Definitely one that I want to pick up. I like this one a lot. This is a really nice piece. Next up, we have the Witch Gazebo. Basically, it's just a gazebo with a witch hat as the top and then broomsticks. I like this one. They've been doing the bone gazebo for quite a few years, and I've always liked it. But for some reason, I like this one more because it just maybe because I'm just so used to the skeleton one. This one's really cool, though. I love the witch hat as the top. I think that's really cool and very classic Halloween, which I do love. This one I really like. This is the Horror Arch. This is one that I definitely want to get. It's an arch made out of tree branches, and there's skeletons in it and pumpkins. It looks like the pumpkins even light up at the bottom. The skeleton's eyes light up. So this is a light up one, and it's pretty cool. I do like this one a lot. It looks a lot like a lot of the things that a bunch of us home haunters make. I've never made one, but maybe I will someday. It's an archway with branches and skeletons and stuff, and they've made some store-bought ones in the past few years, but that's what it reminds me of. This next one's probably my favorite accessory of the year. This is the Gothic Well. You guys know me with Gothic mansion, medieval type stuff. Oh, I love it. One of my absolute favorite types of themes for Halloween. It would be the Gothic type stuff. And this is super Gothic. I mean, just look at it. And the green light that emits from the inside of it, that just looks super cool to me. That's definitely one that I want to try to get. Next up, we have Warming Their Bones. This is kind of weird to see because this is a Wild West type one, though I guess it doesn't have to be Wild West because they are just cowboys. It can definitely be on a farm, yet the fact that they're on desert sand makes it more Wild West. It's interesting because we haven't gotten any Wild West pieces from Lemax ever since the early 2000s, and now they just throw one in. They did this a couple of years ago too. They just threw in a random cowboy zombie, and no piece to go along with it. I really like this piece, and I really like Western stuff, like ghost town Western stuff for Halloween. I think it's very overlooked and should be done a lot more. However, I don't have any of the Wild West pieces. If they would have made a Wild West piece to go with this year, I probably would have bought it, but I just can't get this and put it in my village all by itself. It would look weird. So, not one I'm going to get, but I do think it's cool. And if they do make any more Wild West pieces sometime soon, then I'd definitely consider getting it. Now we have the gargoyle lampposts. I really like the lampposts they do. They always do really cool looking lampposts. This one's no exception. I like this one a lot. Like I said, Gothic stuff I really enjoy, and this is gargoyles, so this is like ultimate Gothic. So I really like this one. Now we have Girls' Night Out on Halloween. Not a big fan of this one. I'm just not a big fan of the cars in general, because I like my village to look more old-fashioned. I like to have like carriages and stuff in it. I like my village to look a lot more spooky, vintage type look to it. So I'm not a big fan of this one just because I'm not too into the cars for the village. But I think for someone who is, it's definitely a cool one. I think it's a cool concept. It's just not one that I would get. Now we have the Jazz Funeral. Like I said, New Orleans vibes they're going for. This one's definitely to go with Squeal Street Blues. And I think it's cool. I love the pallbearers. I would love to see I know they've done a pallbearer one in the past, but I'd love to see another pallbearer one of just the pallbearers. Though you could just not use the jazz players with this, and then that's what that would be. But it's probably more expensive because of the jazz players. But I really like this. I think it's a very interesting idea. It feels very New Orleans, especially with them wearing their top hats. They look very voodoo-like, and I like it a lot. Now we're going to go on to the smaller figurines and such, and if I did miss any of the bigger buildings in here, please excuse that, and we'll just put them in here anyways in this part. This one we have to go with the lighthouse. This is Dead in the Water. This is pretty cool. Nautical stuff is something we have not seen in Spooky Town in a while. Now, though, my ultimate wish would be for them to bring back the pirate type stuff. This is cool too, for sure. I mean, this is the second best thing that they could do for nautical other than pirates, and it's just normal nautical. I really hope this means they'll bring back pirates, though. But the fact that there's a shark, I think that's just super freaking cool. This is one I definitely want to get to go with the lighthouse. I think it's a great one and really unique. Obviously, I love me classic Halloween stuff. Classic Halloween is always the best, but I also like when there's a bunch of unique stuff, because you don't want just the same old stuff all the time. You need some unique stuff too. Though this isn't classic Halloween, it still feels very Halloween, and so it works. And I love a mix of classic and unique. Next up, we have another one that goes with the lighthouse. Now, this is Message in a Bottle. So basically, this guy's sitting on a rock out in the water, and he's opening up a message in a bottle. This is another one I want to get since I want the lighthouse. I think these would go good next to it out on the water. Now, one thing I do want to mention about my village is I'm not going to be using all my buildings this year, because that was my problem with my villages in the past, is I used all my buildings and it was just super crowded. This year, like for the Christmas village, I only used like 8 buildings, and that's one reason it looked so good, because they were spread out and it looked more realistic. That's what I'm doing with the Halloween village. Though I have like 50 Halloween village buildings, I'm going to just use mostly probably the new ones this year, and then a couple of my favorites, and I'm going to toss it up each year, use different ones each year. So yeah, it'll make it look a lot better. So I'm hoping to have a little nautical section with the lighthouse and stuff, and Gizmo's playing with the butcher's shoe. Right here we have the Tombstone Duo. This is a cool one. I like it. It's got the dark humor I like, though it's just not one that I really need because I already have so many Spooky Town tombstones for my cemetery, so I don't really need this one, but it's a cool one, and I definitely like the humor to it. This is Miss Terry, the bookstore owner. So this is to go with the antique bookstore. Strangely enough, she isn't a ghost or anything. She's just a normal lady in vintage style clothing. So she can be mistaken for not even being a Halloween piece at all, but she is. She is just the owner of the bookstore. So I think that kind of adds some realism to it. Like, maybe this bookstore is haunted, but it's just legend surrounds it that it's haunted. It's not just straight in your face haunted. There's ghosts everywhere. It's like kind of like just a normal haunted place in your town. And there's just a normal bookstore owner that works there, yet there's legends about it that are haunted, which I really like that, and it makes me like it even more. This one is Chains. I like this one. It's very plain, but I like it. It's a classic Grim Reaper, and he's holding some chains with a padlock. It's pretty cool. I like stuff like that. Here is Free Samples, which is meant to go with the Bad Apple Shop, and it is basically just a witch giving you free apple samples with a little black cat at the base there, and I love black cats, so I like her a lot, and I probably will get her since I want the Apple Shop. Up here is Skull Cairn. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like this skull totem thing with a frog in the middle and some mushrooms. It feels very fantasy, very whimsical, enchanted forest type, fairy tale like. So I like that one. This one is Checking His Horoscope. So horoscope, my bad, but it's a skeleton reading the newspaper about his horoscope under a pumpkin lamppost. Right here is First Halloween, and so it's basically trick-or-treaters going trick-or-treating. I really like these classic trick-or-treating ones. They feel very Halloween-y. However, I never usually purchase them because my village is more of I mean, since I'm going to toss up the buildings this year and use different ones each year so the village isn't crowded and so I can make it look better since I've decided on that, I think one of these years I'll definitely do like a trick-or-treat village type village, but right now my village is more of an actual haunted village with monsters, so just having these regular people walking around wouldn't make much sense, but I definitely like them. This one is called Practicing. This one is a ghost scaring a cat with the How to Be Scary book on the ground there. So this is meant to go with the ghost school, and basically he's learning how to scare after attending the ghost school, so that's a cool one. Here's another trick-or-treat one, Spooky Celebration. So it's basically a Halloween parade that these kids are putting on. I don't know what else to say about it than that. It's a cool one. Here we have Halloween cats. I love me some black cats. I might get this one because I love black cats so much, and I especially love that cat with the bat wings. I really like him. This definitely might be one that I get because I love black cats, and I love my black cat, Sparky. And over here we have, this is my favorite smaller figure, Scary Scarecrow. Now, it's kind of strange that they don't have a farm piece to go with him this year, unless Michaels has an exclusive one, which could also be the possibility for warming their bones, which I didn't even think about that. If Michaels has an exclusive Western or farm thing, then that would make sense, because sometimes they do that. Sometimes they release a smaller piece to go with an exclusive to the public, and then the exclusive goes with that smaller piece that was released to everywhere. It's kind of weird, but I really like this Scarecrow. He's cool. Surprisingly enough, though farms are one of my favorite Halloween themes, I don't have any farm Lemax pieces. I don't know why. I was just never able to get my hands on one, but I definitely want to change that sometime. I've got my eye on two right now that are online that I might actually purchase before the Halloween season. They're not new, but I want to purchase them just to have them. The Butcher Shop and Chainsaw's Lumberyard. They're really cool, and I really want to get them. Here we have skeleton garden gnomes. So basically, these are just garden gnomes that you'd put in your yard, but they're all decked out for Halloween, and they're skeletons. Right here is Creepy Balloon Seller. He would go good with the Ferris wheel and the Carnival of Carnage. So he is a clown selling balloons. I like him, and if I were to get the Carnival of Carnage and the Ferris wheel, I would get him. But even if not, I might get him because I do already have some clown pieces. So he's definitely one I got my eye on because I really do like him. I think he's cool, and he's got a very creepy look to him as well. One of the last ones we're going to discuss here is Undead Groove. So basically, it's some monsters grooving out to some music that the skeletons got on a boombox there, and there's a tombstone that says Death Metal R.I.P. I'm not a big fan of this one. I don't know why. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me, but it's cool. And the last one we're going to talk about here is Reading in Peace. This is a really cool one. He's like on a tombstone bench, ravens perched on his shoulder and on the bench, and he's reading. But the way he looks, I really like. He looks creepy. Like his mouth is sewn shut. It doesn't look like he has any eyes, and if he does, they're very small. He looks very creepy, and I really like it. But yeah, there you go. That was the Lemax Spooky Town 2021 releases. So far, it is only February. We typically don't get the exclusive released until April or May. So we're not going to see the ones that are going to be exclusive to Michael's just yet, but we will see them eventually. Now, please note, not all of these are going to be at Michael's. It's always something that gets me a little nervous, is that some of my favorites won't be at Michael's, so I won't get to see them in person, and I'm less likely to buy them if I don't see them in person. So I always get nervous that some of my favorites won't be at Michael's, but we're just going to have to wait and see which ones Michael's has. I definitely know they're going to have the Evil Spirits Whiskey Distillery because they always have the contest winner. I'm hoping they'll have the Skull Cave Quarry because I love that one. I think that they definitely might because they had the Thicket Falls Cabin for Christmas. But enough with my banter. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it was somewhat long, but there was a lot to discuss, and I cannot wait to see all of these in person and get my hands on some. I hope you all enjoyed. Keep howling at the moon, my werewolf.